to be a eyesore to the community because of what it's going to do to the properties that surround it. Also, you talk about there's not going to be any parking. Well, they already doubled and tripled the parking in front of everybody's house there in the community. So, and you cannot guarantee that those buses will not be idling. They're already idling. They've been warned. They've been fined. It doesn't do any good. You don't pay the fines anyway. Next, you talked about the amount of children. You have a center for learning. You're going to have beds. You talked about 300 people. You're going to have all of these different spaces. If they are all occupied at the same time, you have almost 600 people in the area. So how do we deal with that amount of people coming into the community at one time? You know, walking through the community, riding through the communities at various times when they can. And the other thing is that people, none of the information that the legal team has put together comes together as a wholehearted application. It does not come together as something that works. It's piecemeal together, and it's going to be deceptive at best. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to have Deborah Rosenzweig. Please, hi. Yeah, if you can step up there, just identify yourself for the record. That'd be great, thanks.
My name is Deborah Rosenzweig. I'm a resident of Cedarhurst, New York. My children have gone to the school, have 4 boys, and they've all, one son that graduated from the school. We've been at the school for 10 years. When we first started, we started out in those houses. And, I mean, they did use the park. And it seemed at the time that there was no animosity. I mean, but whenever we had to deal with anyone from the community, my son once lost his glasses, somebody called, they handed them in. I don't know, it was very nice. And then we had to move because I guess people didn't like that we were in houses. We've been in Valley Stream. It's not a big school. It's not a big school, that's why I sent my kids there. From Long Island, just to explain, because people were confused about the busing. If you live in Long Island, not in a city, in Long Island, you are able to get busing to any school you want to go to within 15 miles of your home. So I do have kids actually from my home that go to school in Crown Heights. And we weren't happy with the boys' schools there. We didn't want to send them to those schools. They're big. And I wanted to send to a small school, and we found about this school. And we've been sending to this school, like I said, for 10 years. One of those little boys over there is mine. That's my youngest son. And it's just an amazing school in general, and it's small. So I don't, like the elementary part of it, it's K through 8. It's small. There's 10 kids in a class. Some kids have less, some kids have more. It's not huge. I don't know about the older kid part, but I know the younger kid part is not huge. People come from Queens, from Crown Heights, and from Long Island. I would say it's heavier on Long Island than even from Crown Heights, because the truth is Crown Heights is pretty expensive, and people have been moving to Long Island, believe it or not, because it's cheaper. If you can believe that, it's true. The other thing is why to be there. So to someone who's a Lubavitcher, Chabad, and really it is the most holiest place in this country, and the reason is because the two Rebbes are buried there, two Rabbi Schneersons, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson and Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson. Plus there's also their wives and there's other people buried next to them. It's considered holy ground in many ways, and it's important, and the reason why the school was founded, from what I understand, I'm not one of the founders, just a parent, is because that there should always be learning near the cemetery. I want to make it clear that we don't pray to Rabbi Schneerson, we pray only to God, but that it's considered a holy place, and that's why it's important to us that right now we're in Valley Stream, which has been fine, but really we want to be back by the Ohel, where the children can be closer to what we would consider in a way ground zero, like the bottom for us. And that's it, ma'am. That's it.
Thank you very much. very much, Laura. I appreciate it. Next, what? Oh, Councilman Denise Miller, please join us.
Thank you, Madam Borough President. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I've had the opportunity to sit back and listen to some of the testimony this morning, and obviously being intimately involved for the past few years and working with civics and others, that we are well aware of the sentiment of the community. But I think for the record, I want to enter this statement that really embodies the voice of the Cambria Heights community. And that is that we are faced at this time with a situation where an institution in Cambria Heights is seeking a variance from the Board of Standards and Appeals in the case based on it being a school with an accessory religious facilities and sleeping accommodations contrary to the bulk regulations of R2A zone. I'm referring to the BSA submission 3015BZ for the building of a 4-story structure at 22412 and 16 Francis Lewis Boulevard between 224th and 225th Street. This is being proposed by the group Kareem Palaus, which has a facility in Valley Stream just 250 feet away from Congregational Hell. It's part of a worldwide Lubavitch movement, and it is proposal, it states, wishes to close its Valley Stream institution for logistical and fiscal reasons. The result would be that 350 students would come daily to this new institution, sleep 62 over, if the current proposal is approved by the Board of Standards and Appeals. The proposal has been denied verbatim by the City's Department of Buildings and turned over to the BSA. The effect of the lifestyle and character of Cambria Heights community would be greatly, drastically, dramatically, and painfully impacted and must be opposed. There are vacant buildings, these buildings will be demolished under the proposal, and no contingencies have been made for the effects on transportation, security, safety, pedestrian sanitation, and the pressures on the homeowners and their peace and state of mind. As a professed religious and educational institution, Kareem Palaus will appeal to BSA for a hardship variance based on their assumption that their school will be beneficial to the Cambria Heights community and not be contrary to the public welfare. This assumption that must be questioned. In addition, they state that their school being in violation of the zoning measures is similar to the 10 schools in a 1-mile radius of their proposed institution. But to compare their mission to that of the public school is obscure and insane. They actually want an institution to replace the one they no longer want to operate in Valley Stream. The residents of Cambria Heights too have their faith. When they purchased their homes, they spent their funds to improve their quality of life. They worked hard to ensure that zoning changes that were approved and put in place some years ago will protect their homes and their investments and build a community that they can be proud of. And during such time, we have built new libraries, senior centers, and others that have really enhanced the quality of life of the Cambria Heights community. But others choose to ignore those enhancements. In uttering the voice of those that I serve, I vehemently oppose this application and ask that it be denied, and will say that I will testify at any future hearings on behalf of the community in denying this proposal.
Can I ask Steve Taylor, Cambria Heights Civic Association, if you can, that'd be great.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Stephen Taylor. I have the honor
and privilege to present to you this morning as the current president of the Cambria Heights Civic Association. In addition to that, I live at 225-16 Francis Lewis Boulevard, which is 2 doors to the west of the current OHEL facility. So I come to you clothed in factual relevance. I'd like to address a few situations this morning, starting with the land use. What you need to envision is a row of single-family houses, which were primarily built during the 60s, but which have been used as single-family houses consistently since that time. They are primarily of the one-story nature, and they are primarily owned and maintained in the most beautiful fashion that a community could want. What is being proposed is a structure that will be totally out of character with that description. The structure being proposed is a 4-story structure, which will be in the middle of those currently existing single-family homes. So what you'll have is about 5 single-family homes, a 4-story structure which will tower and overpower those existing single-family homes, and then the height will drop to about 12 more single-family homes. The proposed structure is just simply out of character. It is going to cover the majority of the lot size. It is asking for a floor area ratio, which is totally out of character with anything that is currently allowed in the area. And then the use itself is something that is out of character with what is currently allowed in that zoning district. In 2005, city planning actually changed the zoning in effect to mandate that there can only be single-family homes in this nature. And basically what they said is, we are going to be consistent in saying that we are for a low-density area in this single-family zoning district of R2A. This building structure will obliterate any notion of low density in Cambria Heights. As I stated before, living there, I see the effects of this already. With the buses and the traffic, there is a bike walk lane that can hardly be used because the buses and the cars that come to the area use that area as a through lane and as a parking lane where individuals who are trying to bike and bus literally have to go out into the travel lane and they're almost run over by current traffic. So there is safety issues that exist there. We now have garbage that is being piled up, and if I just can be allowed to finish up, garbage that is being piled up where it looks like a commercial facility as opposed to residential facilities. There is no need for us to willfully look at this blindly and think these two organizations are not going to operate together. And I want to address one thing that the applicant said, that those current homes are vacant and used for storage. Again, as a resident living there, they are not. There are mattresses that are brought in and people are literally sleeping on top of each other in these buildings. These buildings are currently being used illegally. For these reasons and for protection of this Cambria Heights low-density single-family neighborhood, I would hope that the borough president would consider this testimony and look at the pictures that I sent to your staff as a PowerPoint presentation so you can get the flavor of what's going on and deny this application. Thank you.
So we're going to remind everyone that we're trying to keep it to 3 minutes. We have several folks from the Cambria Heights Civic Association, which is great. And so you have a choice of either saying whatever you want to say, because it's a public hearing and we love hearing from folks. You can also say, I agree with everything that was said by Mr. Taylor, or you can add whatever you'd like, but I just wanted to give you those options. The other thing is we're going to try to keep clapping to a minimum because I know how things go. And we've been out there, and so we've seen the location a few times. We've toured it, we've done the whole thing, and so we thank you though for your testimony. We're going to have Eunice Harris, please, if you could join us. Hi.
Hi, Cambria Heights is for quality of life.
Would you mind, I'm sorry, would you mind coming up? Are you,
Well, I don't have that much to say.
well, it's, you know, it's a formality thing. So, we love having people, we have to have folks identify themselves. For
Yeah,
the
I'm
record.
Eunice Harris, a member of the Cambria Heights Civic Association.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And my mantra is Cambria Heights is for quality of life. And quality of life means that we have to have whatever is necessary to sustain the quality that we are living in now. As far as I'm concerned, it's just too many people that will be using this facility, and it will be a strain on all the facilities in the area. It's not fair. If the incoming people give them an inch, I think they would, you know, these numbers and figures, I don't think are truly what they say they're going to be. I think we will be overwhelmed, so I'm not in favor of this proposal.
Thank you very much. Thank you.